Good evening. It's Larry Sharpe here again on the now daily, I guess, Sharpe Way, which I keep putting out every day, trying to stay around 7 p.m. Eastern if I can to keep you guys kind of in the same world every single time. Corona has been everything. Obviously, we're all sitting here trapped at home. I've been trying to talk about that for the past 3 to 4 to 5 days, last week or so, talking about what I think we could have, should have done, all those things. But I also want to bring up just the idea that we're handling, the idea of change and uncertainty, what we're going to be seeing in the future, what we should be worrying about for the future, and how we're thinking about this. Sadly, there are a lot of people right now who are so afraid they're not thinking clearly. They're just not thinking clearly. I actually have some people who are talking about taking down basketball hoops in New York City so that kids won't play basketball. Shutting down the track in a park near us, Astoria Park, people are running on the track, shutting that down so that people won't go running because they might get too close to each other. This is obviously a horrible idea, right? I mean, maybe they shouldn't be playing basketball. Maybe they shouldn't be. That I'm unsure of. But don't we want to stay healthy? Shouldn't we be working out and doing the things that matter in our world to stay healthy? But we're starting to get crazy. We're starting to get so upset and so concerned that, you know, we're basically becoming that police state. We're becoming that the Stasi of East Germany, or the Gestapo, or the secret police, where we're calling on each other and trying to shut everybody down. Now, I want to be clear about something. If you think people shouldn't be out doing this, there's no problem at all with you saying it. You have a right to your opinion. You have the right to free speech. No worries whatsoever with you going, hey, I'm upset about this, or you shouldn't do that, or hey, you idiot, get out of the street. That's fine. You can honk your horn at them, yell at them, whatever you want to do. It's fine. But do we actually want to start using government to close things down, force people to say, to not be able to run? And theoretically, if you're young and healthy, don't you want to stay young and healthy and run the track and play basketball or whatever? I'm watching people here in Astoria, Queens, where I live, running on the street. These people are still running. It's a nice day. They're trying to stay fit. Smart move. Stay healthy. I love the idea. This is a great thing, but we're getting scared. Why am I bringing this up? Because as you've heard me say 1,000 times, people who are afraid make bad decisions. And we do this without thinking about the long term. People who are afraid often think short term. Short-term decisions and groupthink, wow, is that going to be a problem? So I want you, obviously our leaders should be thinking this. They're not, but they should be thinking this. At least you should be thinking this. When things look tough, they look bad, you're afraid, you're worried, look at this through the prism of time, right? Through the prism of time. How will you feel about this decision a month from now, a year from now? Any of those things. How will you feel then about the decisions that we are making or taking now? I know the response, but Larry, people are dying now. People are dying. I get that completely. I do. I'm not taking that away. I live in the belly of the beast. The most deaths came from a hospital I can walk to, right? I get what you're saying completely. Right? Tomorrow I'm actually helping out a family friend of ours, and we're going to go over and drop off some supplies so they can clean up and disinfect their home because they're at risk. They have a compromised immune system. So we're dropping that off for them, using masks, just dropping it off so they can take care of it. We're doing that because we care. We're trying to support each other. Of course we're doing that. I get it. This is serious. As serious as it is. What are we going to be thinking about a year from now, a month from now? The decisions that we're making now. The enemies that we're making now. The things that we're saying now. Right? As you yell and scream at your neighbor and call them an ass, how's that going to look a year from now? You still going to have that neighbor? They're still going to be there? Are you still going to be talking to them? Are you going to need something from them? Are they going to need something from you? Right? What's going to be happening, you know, when it's a year from now or a month from now? Think about that. If I could, I want to chat about something that's more important in general. When things look bad, like it does look bad now, I get that completely. Ask yourself 3 separate questions. And he said 3 P's, so it's easy to think about this, right? 3 P's, you think about this. Is this really permanent? Is the virus permanent? It's not. Now, is death permanent? Of course, which is why we have to try to protect those people who are absolutely, compromised. Absolutely. With those people to the side, of course you care about those. Is this permanent? Is there a virus going to be here forever? Probably not. It's going to burn its way through, however that is, hopefully as good as we can make it. And then it's over. Then we have to recover. Let us try to the best of our ability, to recover as soon as we can and as good as we can, right? A lot of people think the economy's trashed. They're right. It is. That's true. It's trashed. However, there's a big however here. How do we fix it? We can sit here and say, it's over, the country's done, let's pack it in, move to Canada, or whatever's your thing, I get it. Or we can say, how do we fix this thing? It's not permanent. We can repair it. Not just that. If we know that it's going to hit us hard now, right, is it also pervasive? Does it affect everything? And it does. That's the sad part, right? It affects our economy. It affects our relationships. It affects other things. So how can we make it not as pervasive? Obviously, it makes us stay home. But let's not do social distancing. Let's instead do physical distancing. So we can still chat with each other, right? Talk and connect like we are now. Text people, call people, the whole deal. Let's do all of that stuff. Absolutely. It's important that we're able to do that. Thank you, Dan. Yes, absolutely. And I know that people feel like the economy's screwed. I'm totally with you on that. I get it. I feel like it's screwed too. But in reality, look, we can fix this. It's not pervasive. It doesn't affect everything. Can we make sure it doesn't affect those people who are young enough and go out and do things? Yes. Can we try to make sure we're still talking to each other and keeping our relationships? Yes, we can. We can still do these things. 100%. We can still do these things. But we can also use this to affect our future. Because the next thing is this actually personal? And I know if you're the one who's lost your job, if you're the one who has, can't pay your bills, if you're the one who's lost the loved one to this, feels like it's personal. I know it feels that way if it happens to you. When bad stuff happens to me, it feels like it's happening to me too. It's personal. It's not. I need us to realize it's not personal. All three of those things, it isn't the end of the world. It's not permanent. We can make it not pervasive, and it's not personal, which means we can work on this. We can. Let's look for the future. Prism of time. What are we doing for the prism of time? What are we doing to make things work a year from now, a month from now? What can we repair now? What can we prep for now? I see people talking about the Fed like there's no tomorrow. I agree. Can we work on the Fed? Yeah. I have the simplest answer for the Fed. Simplest. I love it. Clearly, William wants to end the Fed. I got it. The reality of it is, why don't we audit now? Perfect time to audit the Fed. Here's the great thing about auditing the Fed. We actually can't audit the Fed. It's a private bank. We can't just decide to audit the Fed. It's unfair, isn't it? But once people realize you can't audit the Fed, now we'll start thinking about how we can end the Fed. The first step is auditing the Fed. Perfect time to do that, right? Fixing our economy, right? The reality of it is the economy was already broken. And the advantage of that is that now we can see that it was broken, right? We can see that it was broken. We can find the issues and concerns that were there. We can see it now and maybe try to fix them, right? Since 2008, and those who've been following me, I've been telling this forever. Since 2008, we had no real recovery. It's just been Fed throw money at us. That's been the entire thing. Fed throw money at us. Guess what? That didn't work. We see it now. And it was crappy, John. You're right. It was crappy. And it still is weak. Now maybe we can fix it. Maybe we can fix it. And I think we can, right? I think there's a possibility that we can actually fix it. You know? Tony brings up the most important thing. Change. Change is fear. That's the same thing, right? The part I'm talking about now, of all the things I've chatted about, the fear, I want us to end the fear, and how you end the fear. Fear itself is not a bad thing, right? Fear in itself, people think fear is a bad thing. Fear in itself is not necessarily a bad thing. Making a decision from fear is bad. What we should be doing is saying, we're afraid. Okay, why are we afraid? There's a reason why we're afraid. Now let's start thinking. Fear should not be a trigger for action because people who are afraid make bad decisions. Fear should be a trigger for thought. I'm afraid, let's think things through. There's a reason why I'm afraid, let's think things through. And Tony's point, I'm afraid of everyone. Yeah, that's a bad idea, right? But there are going to be some changes here. You're going to see more people wearing masks than ever did this before. My mother, when she had cancer before she passed, and by the way, I'm sorry about your loss, Tony. My mother, before she passed, she was on chemotherapy, compromised immune system. She wore a mask everywhere she went. That was her norm, right? In East Asia, many people wear masks compared to Americans. We're going to start doing that. You're going to see more people wearing masks even when we don't have a virus. It's going to become more common. Not a bad thing. So what? Less people are going to be shaking hands. You can see that happen. Not a bad thing. More people using hand sanitizer. Not a bad thing. These things are changing. It's fine. This we shouldn't be afraid of. What we should be afraid of is, I don't want to be around you. I don't want to talk to you. That's what we should be afraid of. That is what I'm concerned about. That's the bigger issue of all these things. And I'm hoping we don't do that. I don't want us at all to think this is the end. All right? I don't want to be crazy about this, but I just want to be clear on something. When we have fear or worry or concern, no matter what, we should be thinking, prism of time. How will this look a year from now, a month from now? What will I be thinking? Will I still have my friends and family? Is the world ending? And if we go a year from now, yes, the world's ending, then maybe it's real. But I think all of us know a year from now, this will be over. Maybe not 3 months from now. Maybe not. But a year from now, this part of this will be over. Whatever that is, it will have flared, it will be down, and this will be another thing that we hear of once in a while. That's what will happen a year from now. With that in mind, do we want to destroy ourselves before that? We don't. Do we want to destroy relationships, to Tony's point, before that? We don't. We can accept a new norm, that we can do. Plan and think. The reason why people get afraid is because they're uncertain. Change is scary. The more we can plan, the more we can take control, the less afraid we'll be, and the better off we can act. We have to start taking control. As a general rule, what you're seeing is people being afraid and angry. Anger because they're afraid, right? The root of aggression is fear. Aggression because they're afraid. Begging their guy, whoever their guy is. If they're Democrat, they're begging Biden or Cuomo. If they're Republican, they're begging Trump to solve this for them. We all know the answer was never them. The fault is theirs. We have to start thinking the right way. They're only thinking short term. The reason why they could even imagine and be happy about a $2 trillion magical money show, here's $2 trillion out of nowhere. The reason why they can be so happy about that is because they're thinking short term. And in the short term, that's totally going to work, right? Literally, they're going to start writing checks to people. And as they write checks, people are going to say, see, my check came from my guy, whatever guy you think is your guy. I feel good. I'm now validating. It's now valid for me to vote for that person. That's how they're thinking. This is a wrong answer. It's a bad answer. And that's, really a problem. The other issue I am concerned about here is this is going to push a lot of people away from rolling the dice on things like entrepreneurship, things like starting new businesses, things like trying new jobs. It's going to scare people. Right now, about 1 in 7 people work for the government, give or take, in America. That number is going to shoot up to 1 in 5. Now, I want you to imagine this for a second. We already have now what's going to be a $26, $27 trillion debt, something like that, right? And now throw on top of that all the money we'll be giving away for the next year or 2 or 3 to recover. And, right, this stimulus package is by no means the end. You know this. It's not even close to the end. There's going to be at least another trillion, at least, maybe 2 more trillion on top of that. And now a bunch more employees. When you have 1 in 5, which is what's going to end up happening, 1 in 6, 1 in 5 Americans working for the government, how do you get rid of those jobs? How do you pay for those jobs? I don't know how you do that, right? But there's a bigger piece you're going to find. You already found mass migration already. And that migration came from rural areas into cities. Over 80% of Americans live in cities, right? One of the reasons why Corona spread so fast. Not the reason, obviously, but one of the reasons why it spread so fast. We have massive people living in closed areas. New York City, the biggest, most cramped city in the United States, and of course, the epicenter. Of course, right? That's normal. You're going to find more of that now. More people packing up and moving, losing their job, losing their home, heading back to family, more mass migration. And when that happens, more problems, more fears, more concerns, all of those things. So thank you, Mr. Moore. Maybe 2024, we'll see. We'll see if that happens. Yes, so I really think the issue is if we can take this fear and use it, what the government's using it for now is to get us to get more government, to get us to be more afraid, and in reality, more childlike. I say this all the time. We're becoming more childlike, more in a situation where I need someone else to help me. And the problem is the more we do this, the harder it becomes to back out of it, right? The harder it becomes to back out of it. We spend so much time, right, just thinking about, the government's going to save me. What happens when we don't want the government to save us? Or when the government's not going to save us? We don't act. And a good example of that was Hurricane Katrina, where people just sat there and waited and just sat there and waited. I don't want us to become that. This would have gone so much better if we had actually taken the time to engage 2 or 3 months ago when the senators and congressmen were all selling their socks off because they knew it was going to come. When that happened, for us to ignite ourselves, maybe to push a little fear then, so locally we could ignite, and we didn't. The goal of this evening, I know it's a short one, I'm trying to go on often, but what I'm saying is, this is not the end. In the future, this will go away. This is not pervasive on everything. In reality, we have control over every parts of all different parts of our world. It isn't just this. We can do other things. We can stay touched with other people. We can touch other people, not physically, obviously. We want a physical distance, not socially distance each other. And it's not personal. And if you're losing someone or you're affected by it or your job is lost, I know it feels personal. I'm just letting you know, please understand it isn't. Not personal, not pervasive, not permanent. There is no need for us to feel like the world's ending. There's no need to be that pessimistic. There's no need to be that afraid. We can get around this. We absolutely can. Think of this through the prism of time. What's going to happen a year from now? In reality, this will be over a year from now. And we will have more opportunities a year from now. For those of you who have lost your job or lost your business or whatever the case may be, you will have more opportunities now. That will pop up. I hope they'll be good. I hope they'll be better. But change is, as Joe says, necessary for growth. And he's right. We have to do that. We really have to, in the next time this comes, prep for this and have the right plan ready, right? That half plan's pretty good. I may post that later on again. The half plan's a good idea. If we can do the half plan, that can rock and roll. In any case, we can plan for the next one. We'll be okay. I just wanted to say hi this evening. And so, guys, oh, no, I'm sorry. Thank you. One more thing I'll bring up real fast. Thank you, Robert. This idea of manufacturing in the U.S., another good idea, right? This could be the reason to have those smaller shops and manufacturing plants in the country. One of the reasons why the German economy has been so strong, obviously there's many, I'm picking up one small piece of it, is because they have a lot of local manufacturing, right? A lot of small local manufacturing is a chunk, a larger chunk than we have, a larger chunk of the German economy. Maybe we should copy that right now, Robert. Maybe you're right. Maybe now's the right time for us to start, doing some of that right now. It's a great time to start thinking about that, Robert. I love the idea. It's a great time right now to start that. Start some manufacturing here in the U.S. See if we can get some people rocking and rolling. One advantage, you'll be able to get a lot of great talent relatively cheap to start a new business right now because people are out of work. People will be prepared to take lower salaries and maybe a part of the business, little equity chunk, to start something new. So you can probably get some pretty good talent for a pretty low price if you want to start building something right now in the United States. And the second thing is, local governments are going to just give the land away. They're going to give stuff away. Cheap land, cheap rents. there is something that we can do. There is some advantage to it. I know for those of you who've lost your job or lost your business, that's not a great consolation prize. It is a consolation prize. It's the one that we have. All right, guys, I'm going to be back on later. Great talking to you all. I will chat with you all very soon.